We're from Thrive Functional Wellness Center. And the first question is we dive into gut. I'm actually going to ask Dr. Appy to tell us a little bit about functional medicine and what we do a little differently than the medical model providers.
But first,
I'm
going to take her cheat sheet and I'm going to read off the top. It says, this presentation is for informational purposes only. This information is not, I repeat, not a substitute for medical advice from your medical doctor. The information is not meant to prevent, diagnose, treat, or cure any health condition. And if you are really concerned, when we finish the talk, if we brought something up that really concerns you, it's important that you please discuss this with your medical doctor or visit an ER. Thank you very much.
Okay, now that we got our little disclaimer down.
Disclaimer.
So, again, if you can answer, what is functional medicine? What do we do differently than the medical provider?
So functional medicine is pretty straightforward, and I have a bunch of friends that are in the medical model, so I'm just going to speak freely. The medical model is really designed around pharmaceuticals that suppress and minimize your symptoms. So when you go to the doctor and you have a list of symptoms, he's going to pick a drug or multiple drugs that are going to minimize your symptoms so that you feel better or you're comfortable. Okay? In functional medicine, our goal is to identify what's the underlying cause of the symptoms, and then we want to address the underlying cause. When we resolve the underlying cause, the symptoms go away. And we do that naturally without medications. We don't use drugs. Everything we do is all natural. Okay? So again, functional medicine is all about identifying the underlying cause of the symptoms and addressing it using all natural methods. Okay? Very straightforward.
Awesome. And that's what we do here in our office. We work with people locally and we work with people remotely all around the United States and in Canada. So, okay, now we're going to dive into gut questions. I have a list of questions here that are the most commonly asked questions, and let's see how he does.
The things that we see all the time when people ask us. And so I just want to let you know too, I'm a certified functional medicine practitioner with 31 years of clinical experience. And so everything that we do in the office is tested, tried, and true, and it works. So it's important that people understand that. Okay?
Yeah, very important.
So let's start with question number one.
Okay, question number one is, okay, here we go. We're diving in. What is leaky gut?
What is leaky gut? Leaky gut has been really popular in the healthcare industry, or the natural healthcare industry, for a number of years now. Leaky gut is just what it sounds like. Your gut is leaking. So how does that work? Well, inside the tube of your intestines, there's a single cell layer that separates inside the tube from outside the tube, or the bloodstream, okay? And when that single cell layer gets irritated, infected, damaged, or inflamed, or something along those lines, the cells that are tightly held together, they'll separate out like this, and you'll develop these large gaps where the toxic waste products that are supposed to go out the trap door and into the sewer system can literally leak into your bloodstream. So everything from bacteria and viruses, undigested food particles, all kinds of stuff can leak through that into your bloodstream, and that blood goes everywhere in your body, including it can cross the blood-brain barrier. And so we can have toxins everywhere in our body and including in our brain. So your intestinal wall literally leaks toxins into your bloodstream. Leaky gut.
Yeah, that does not sound very good.
Yeah. Did I get it right?
Yes, that was good. You did a great job. So what are some
One gold star.
What are some of the symptoms of leaky gut?
Almost any type of gut issue that you can come up with, whether it's gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, the list is endless. And so the research shows 7 or 8 out of 10 people have leaky gut. Many people don't know they have leaky gut. They just think that it's just kind of what their bowel is doing at that time. Oh, I eat and maybe I'm constipated for a week. That's what they do, and that's just not normal. So it's a large percentage of people out there who can have leaky gut. You don't have to have super extreme symptoms. It's really important to talk to someone who specializes in leaky gut work to identify if I have it, and then you need to address it appropriately.
Okay, that's good, which is all the things that we do here. So the next question, I think you already answered this. How many people actually have leaky gut?
Again, it's I believe it's 8 out of 10. That was the latest that I read research-wise. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 people out there have it.
And
so
that's
it's
a
pretty
lot.
prevalent. Yeah,
And-
it's pretty prevalent.
And most people don't know that they have it, and the doctors aren't talking about it.
Yeah,
But-
your doctor's not going to discuss it with you. They're not going to get into it and go, oh, well, let's find out whether you got leaky gut. Let's fix it. They're just not going to unless they can write a prescription med. Maybe you've got diarrhea and they tell you to take Imodium or something like that.
Right, which isn't fixing the leaky gut
No,
like
that's
what
a
he explained.
symptom. They're using that as a symptom control mechanism.
Right, okay, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, we are talking about gut, we're talking about digestion, we're gonna talk a little bit about topics not everybody may be comfortable with, but we talk about all the
Poop.
time. Yes, we're going there.
We're going
So-
to the poops.
How often should I have a bowel movement, Dr. Rappy?
Oh my gosh, we get this all the time. You know, a couple of times a day is a good idea, once a day for sure. If you skip a day, okay, but when you start going 3, 4, 5 days without a bowel movement, there's definitely something wrong. So there is no scientifically researched exactly this many times. We want to have a normal functioning bowel. We want maximum breakdown, absorption, and movement. And that can be predicated on a lot of different things that are going on in your body. So it's not, you've got to have 5. It's that we want to get a normal functioning bowel. Remember, if I eat 3 times a day, right?
We want it coming out.
You want it coming out, okay?
Yeah.
So that's really the most important part, And there's actually some science behind poop and what does it look like and how does it float? Does it sink? Is it solid? Is it soft?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty complicated stuff, and that's there's people that do that. They're poopologists, right?
It actually tells a lot about what's going on.
It tells a lot
when
about
you-
is your gallbladder working? Are you metabolizing and utilizing the fats appropriately and all kinds of stuff. So it's just, yeah.
It's a big deal,
Yeah.
and we've had people who've come to see us who don't have bowel movements, maybe once a week,
Can you believe that?
and they're not even concerned. We're more concerned than they are, and
Yeah.
so it is a big deal. That's why we're talking about it. So, okay, so diving into, we're talking about bowels. I'm constipated and I have diarrhea. Should I be concerned?
The answer from me is yes, okay? And the reason is that's not normal function. No one should say to you, oh, you're constipated a little bit, that's normal. It's not normal, okay? Or I have a little diarrhea, it's not normal. So anybody that comes to us and has constipation issues, keyword issues, so it's something that happens frequently to them, we need to dig in deep and find out what's really going on and identify it and then correct that underlying cause and not take a medication, not a stool softener like Metamucil. I hear that all the time. Oh, as long as I take that Metamucil, I'm fine. Well, you know what? That's not normal bowel function. You're using something like that that's toxic to us to make our bowels move, and that's inappropriate.
Yeah, and even Metamucil is a good example of something that has a lot of hidden toxins and preservatives. So you think you're taking it to benefit one thing, but it's actually causing other issues.
Correct.
So, okay, that was good. Okay, this is one that we see a lot, we hear a lot about, and I'm just going to dive in, and I know everybody knows someone who has this issue. Why am I bloated and gassy?
Bloated and gassy. Windows don't work on the car. It's a long ride home. Not good. You know what I'm saying? So bloated and gassy, again, can be caused by a lot of different things. Remember that there's research that shows up to 400 trillion microbes in our gut. And when we don't have an equal amount of these and those, goods and bads, if we're not in balance, if our microbiome is not in balance, we're going to possibly suffer bloating and gas from just that. But there again, there's a lot of things that could cause it. But from a microbiome standpoint, if we develop what's called dysbiosis, or the bad bacteria overgrows the good bacteria, and those bad bacteria, whatever they might be, are producing methane gas, we're going to be really gassy. And you're definitely going to have the windows down on the way home. So it's just important to know that there's a lot of different things that can cause that, but it's not normal. It is not normal to be bloaty and gassy after we eat.
And along that lines, I just want to add that feeling of you don't have to settle for how you feel. So many people eat a meal, they're bloated after their meal, they're gassy, and they're like, whatever, that's normal. It's not normal. Your body sends you little red flags, warning signs all the time. Sometimes they're huge and sometimes they're little. I see the bloating and gas, your body's trying to get your attention. Let's listen to it. And that's where we come in. So,
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's a big red flag.
That's a big red flag. Okay, so we're talking about bloating, gas. This is another one that we're hearing a lot of. The difference between good versus bad gut bacteria.
And I kind of cover that, so I can't get into the fancy names, but again, you have to have a balance. Your microbiome is really, really a sophisticated environment that's really important for it to be in balance and functioning normally. All right, so let's give you an example, and this will lead into our talk next week when we talk about the brain-gut connection. If my gut is not functioning properly, and I'm not producing a specific neurotransmitter that's produced in my gut, even though it's a neurotransmitter for my brain, I might have bouts of dementia, but depression. I might be prone to depressive episodes. And so it's really important to make sure that we're in balance and we have a lot, the good bacteria are the most important that we want to deal with. Okay?
Okay, this is good. So, okay, now we're getting into a little developed topic here. So I've been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, IBS, colitis. My doctor says it has nothing to do with food or stress, and only meds will help. Can you help me, Dr. Appy?
Well, of course, the answer is yes, because for what we're doing is we want to get in there and identify what's the underlying cause. I would disagree with a medical doctor that says that statement, that it has nothing to do with it, because the research shows that it does many times. Is there going to be a case out there or a few cases out there that it doesn't? Possibly. But for the most part, we believe that Crohn's is an autoimmune scenario. So my immune system is literally going to be attacking my tissue in my intestine, right? That's going to be Crohn's. So rather than give you medications, and Lori will share her story in a second, rather than give you drugs to minimize the symptoms, we want to go to the root cause and identify what is it that's triggering my immune system to attack my intestines. And so, yes, we can help. They're always interesting cases, these individuals, because the medical model has got them in this place where we need to kind of work them back to, let's figure out what's going on and let's fix it. So I believe that food and stress can have a huge role in gut issues. Stress particularly. Let's face it, we've been through COVID for a whole year. A lot of people are at home. I had a guy the other day that says, I used to go to the gym all the time. He's got the COVID-19, meaning he's got the 19 pounds that he didn't have before, and he's just lost his enthusiasm. He has no drive and no desire, and so he's in a depressed place, and he's not eating well. So he's really driving his metabolic dysfunction further and further down. So he just needs to have some people like us walk him through the steps and coach him along the way and get him back to where he can be empowered to take his health back.
Right. And since we are talking about Crohn's, I want to take just a few minutes and share a little bit about my personal story. And the reason why I want to share my story is I feel that it can really give people hope. Because you do. You get diagnosed with Crohn's, colitis, and all that. The medical model can be really scary. So to briefly, I'm going to try to make it as short as I can. But in 1994, 27 years ago, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And it was a really difficult time. It was 9 months worth of really, really difficult testing. I had a new baby. We just got married. And not only was I diagnosed, but then the doctor told me that within 10 years, I was going to have bowel cancer, colon cancer, and probably a colostomy bag. And I went home and I was terrified. The only option he had for me were drugs. He literally gave me steroids and asked me to take 16 pills a day. And again, I'm young, I don't know what to do, so I took them for just a few days. And I looked at my husband and I said, I can't do this. I feel horrible. So I called the doctor and I said, there has to be another way. I'm not taking these pills anymore. And he said, good luck. This is all that I can do for you. So that was 27 years ago when we personally started this journey, because we're like, we're going to figure this out. So I made the original almond flour, almond meal. I ground up everything. I threw everything away. We made everything from scratch. And again, this is 1994. There's no gluten-free products. There's no coconut flour. There's none of that. So it took quite a few years, but through working on identifying my food sensitivities, working on my stress, and just working together, we were able to get me into a place of remission. And so here I am. I'm going to age myself. I'm 53, 27 years later. None of the things that the doctor says have ever happened. I've never been on meds, and I keep myself in remission as long as I eat what I know that I should eat, and I avoid the few things that I have to avoid. So again, I share this story because I wish there was someone like myself that I could have worked with. And I am a functional medicine certified coach. And so through the coaching that I do, I take you through the years that I had to go through. We fast forward to find the solutions for you quickly. So again, there is hope, because so many people with those diagnoses come to us and
don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
She's already done that for you. So I will say one more thing about the medical model that she was in. The bedside manner was horrible. Can you imagine? Well, that's all you got, and guess what? You're going to have colon cancer in 10 years. Period. End of story. She's been back to this doctor for reasons because of insurances and whatnot. Every time she goes back, you would think he would say, oh my God, look at you. You look like a Victoria's Secrets model. What have you been doing? Because none of my clients have had the same success as you. He should be asking her, teach me, show me. His ego is so big, he writes the prescription and says, there you go. That's it. He has no interest. And it makes me angry, so I don't go along to those particular appointments.
Right. And for us, again, it's about hope. The people that I work with who have digestive issues, I know we're kind of making light of the gas, the bloating. I know what it's like to go someplace and all you're doing is looking for the bathroom. I know what it's like to leave a scenario, leave an amusement park, leave wherever we are to go running to a bathroom. And no one should live like that. And I did for quite a few years, so I can appreciate it. So I want to share my story because, like I said, I think it's impactful working with someone who knows what you're going through. So
it's important.
It is important.
Really
so
important.
I'm going to go from that to, we're going to move away from Crohn's, and I'm going to ask Dr. Rappy a question about the most commonly asked digestive question in the office, on Facebook, on Google. I don't know if anybody wants to try to guess what it is. And it's nothing that we've already talked about. We talked about leaky gut, gas, bloating, and all that. Okay? You ready for it? Acid reflux and GERD. So
acid reflux and GERD. Huge. We see people come in and they're like, oh, I've been taking Prevalence for 30 years or whatever. I mean, it's the craziest thing, omeprazole or whatever it is. So the medical model, again, they approach this completely different. They're interested in symptom suppression. That's their number one thing. So they're going to use something like omeprazole because in their mind, their belief is acid reflux is too much acid. In the medical model, in the functional medicine model, which is what we're doing here, we don't look at it like that. We look at it like there's not enough stomach acid, so I'm not breaking down my food, so they're not departing my gut like they should, or in my stomach and going into the duodenum and into my intestines, so I get the reflux. So we want to balance out and make sure that there's proper stomach acid in I would say 95% of the cases that we've had from anywhere from 5 to 25 years of reflux. It works. It absolutely works. And so we just address the problem differently. They suppress your symptoms. We want to fix the underlying cause. And it's really about getting your body back into normal functionality. That's really what it comes down to. But it's amazing. It's the number one thing that we hear people talk about.
And you know what's fascinating too is with the people who work with us in our wellness program, and again, we have all different types of programs that we offer. I would say the acid reflux is almost the number one thing that goes away, and how quickly it goes away.
Yeah, it really does.
And so people who have been suffering for years and years, there really are solutions. It's pretty amazing.
And remember, Prilosec, it's over the counter now, so you can buy it and just take it eat it like candy. The problem is the side effects. It can increase your risk of heart disease, right? Bone fractures, bone demineralization. There's all these side effects from long-term use of that stuff. So why would you do that to yourself when there's really an easy solution of correcting the underlying cause and eliminating it completely? Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's big.
We talked about a lot today. We talked about leaky gut, gas, bloating, Crohn's, acid reflux. One little piece of the wellness programs that we offer, we do the detox. We do a clean, cleanse, and repair. It's really important to have that foundation for your gut, for your organs, to really get things cleaned up. So that is something that people ask about all the time, and that is part of the work that we do too. And I'm not talking about the detox that you get over the counter that sends you running to the bathroom, and I'm not talking about that. We're talking about real clean, cleanse, repair your organs, your cells. So
specially designed to get all of your organ systems functioning normally and together synergistically. Your body is a whole unit. It works together. It's not separate. We talked about that during the thyroid talk last time. So that's the importance of what we're doing. Getting your body back to normal functionality.
Right. And again, don't settle for how you feel. All the different things that we talked about, I know everybody that's on here and everybody that's going to be watching it after knows someone who's experiencing it. And again, it's a red flag. It's a little warning that your body is telling you. Listen to those little warnings, because you don't want the big warnings to come.
Now, let me give you one quick example. There is research out there that shows that the bacteria and the bugs and the bad stuff that can leak through your intestines, they've been able to see it with specialized devices on the brain tissue. So if you don't think that issue you're dealing with down there can't turn into a bigger problem, it can. It can. And we're talking about Alzheimer's and some of these other neurodegenerative issues that we're seeing. So there is a link, and we're going to talk about that next week, the brain gut, but there is a link. So don't let this, it's not that big a deal, so I'm a little gassy. Don't let this turn into something that you're really, or your family is going to be burdened with for many, many years to come.
Yeah, it's really, really true. And like Dr. Rappy said, so yes, next week we are, again, coming on live 4:30, talking about the brain-gut connection. And then the following Tuesday, I'm just going to let you know, because it is National Nutrition Month, we're going live to our kitchen. I almost said my kitchen, but it is our kitchen.
I will wear an apron, I promise.
And we're going to be doing healthy swaps, all the paleo swaps. So I'm super excited about that. But before we kind of log off here, so I wanted to tell you how you can start working with us, okay? So the first thing is that you can actually do a free discovery call with me, the clinic director, the health coach, and there is a link on a description. I think Julie's going to share a little link here in our conversation as well, where you can click on there and you can go on my calendar and schedule a call with me. But very special for tonight, I actually have 3 spots. After we're done here, if you, the very first 3 people who direct message me or message me on our messenger with your phone number and tell me a little bit about your health issues, just like one line with a few things, and the first 3 people, I will actually call them tonight. For the rest of the people, I will call you tomorrow, or you can go on that link, and I see it there, the thrivefunctionalwellness.com free call to learn more. Because again, our office, we offer holistic solutions for all different types of health issues. We've done these lives now. We've talked about diabetes, we've talked about thyroid, we've talked about gut, and we're just trying to touch on the different topics that we know are top of mind for you. So again, you can also click on the links and you can find where you can just set up a consultation with Dr. Rappy. It's $87. Or we can even click on another link and order comprehensive blood work panels. So we have a lot going on there, and super excited that we've had an opportunity to talk with everybody. We appreciate everybody who's joined us. We announced what we're doing next week, and I think we're good. So again, thank you. We're trying to keep these kind of short and fun and informative. We're still so new to these lives and still, figuring it all out, but we really appreciate everybody joining us.
Really appreciate you coming on. And again, share, share, and share.
Yes.
There's nothing greater than sharing what we offer to somebody. It's a friend, a family, a member, a neighbor, somebody, and you can help them. You really can. So we really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for spending this time with us. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, it really does. And again, we're here in La Quinta, California, but we work with people throughout Canada, throughout the United States. So
all over the place.
Reach out and hopefully we can help you. All right, you guys, have an amazing evening. Great to
Bye.
see everybody. Bye.